What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome to episode 5 of our Tottenham Hotspur Let's Play here in Football Manager 2017, and today it's a massive live con double header. In the first game we're going to be taking on FC Porto, and then following that up we will have the North London derby against Arsenal. If you missed the last episode, as always, go check it out. It was a game against Liverpool as well as a review of the previous 8 games, I do believe, so there was quite a long time between kind of the previous episode and the episode before that, but today we are back just half a week later. We're going to be taking on FC Porto in what is a massively important Champions League game for us. A win here sees us go through to the knockout stages. A loss would see FC Porto leapfrog us. And assuming Juventus beat Bate, we go into our last game knowing we have to beat Juventus and Porto have to screw up against Bate for us to have any chance of going through. So really, it's all about getting the win here and now. Of course, this game is going to be at Wembley Stadium as it is one of our home ties in the Champions League. In terms of our team news, there's a little bit of kind of injury news, I guess, still kind of lingering around the squad. Son Heung-min, still out injured. He's been out for a little while. He's still out with his sprained ankle for 2 to 3 more weeks. Vincent Janssen, the Dutch striker, close to full fitness. His match fitness and condition really not that great. But we do need a striker option on the bench, so he is going to be that for us. Don't really want to have to call upon him unless I absolutely have to due to injuries, but he's there if we need him to. Elsewhere, Danny Rose returns to the first team. Of course, he's been out for a long time. He actually only scraped through his pre-match fitness test. He has a 7-week hernia that he's been recovering from. I've been told to only play him for half the game, but given the kind of situation we have whereby Ben Davies, our natural backup left back, is also out injured, although he's out, he's going to be back fairly soon. I don't really have much of a choice but to play Danny Rose. If he falls off a cliff in terms of his fitness, if he takes a knock, you can expect Jan Vertonghen to slot in at left back and then Wimmer to slot in at centre back. But I don't really want to have to do that if we can avoid it. Anyway, in terms of our team, of course, we are sticking with our 4-2-3-1. In terms of the squad itself, in goal we have Hugo Lloris, obviously fantastic goalkeeper so far this season. In the Champions League, he's done fairly well. He's got 1 clean sheet in 4 games, but an average rating of 7.07 is nothing to be scoffed at. At left back, as I already mentioned, Danny Rose comes back into the side. A 7.35 average rating for him in the 2 Champions League games he's played thus far. In the centre-back position, we of course go with our 2 ball-winning midfielders, Jan Vertonghen, who's had a great Champions League campaign so far, alongside him Alderweireld, who as well has looked fairly solid all in all. Defensively, I feel like we've been fairly good in the Champions League, of course. In our game so far, we lost to FC Porto 1-0, we drew against Juventus 0-0, and then we beat Bate twice, home and away. So really, this is the kind of game that I'm hoping that, given our previous results against the likes of Juventus and Bate, we can, I guess, turn our fortunes around and kind of get the win that we didn't get last time we met FC Porto. Anyway, Danilo, he's played fairly well in the Champions League as well. 2 assists, in fact, in the competition, so hopefully he can maybe get a few more for us today. In the centre midfielder kind of positions, we have Erik Dyer playing as our centre mid on defend alongside him. Dele Alli, a player who, if I'm honest, he's not had the greatest form in the Premier League, but in the Champions League he's performed well thus far. I'm hoping we can see another top performance from him today. Out on the left hand side we have Christian Eriksen, of course, the advanced playmaker, had a very good start to the season in all competitions. He has 3 goals and 1 assist in 4 Champions League starts. In the centre of the pitch we go with Berahino, who himself has 1 goal in the Champions League. Perhaps not had the greatest performances, but he's got important goals for us throughout this season, even in games where he's been fairly absent for the majority of it, and I'm hoping that today it's going to be no different. Eric Lamela's had a very good start in the Champions League as well. And of course, up front for today's game, we do go with the one, the only Harry Kane. Only 1 goal in the Champions League thus far, but he has got 12 goals in 10 Premier League games. So he has goals in him, and I'm hoping he can step up to the occasion today. Anyway, looking at the squad as a whole, just quickly, you can see our condition isn't great. It's been an ongoing problem, I guess you could say, just our kind of general match condition. All the players have above 90, which is nice. Really, the big worry, as I already alluded to, is the fact Danny Rose only has 63% match sharpness, so his condition will deteriorate that little bit quicker and he might be a little bit more prone to a knock or two. But looking across the team as a whole, given the kind of run of fixtures we've had, I'm fairly happy with the squad at our disposal. It's worth noting, of course, that in the game following this, we will be taking on Arsenal, which is going to be a big game for us. There's going to be a lot of pressure on our shoulders. But given our players' lack of fitness, it might be a case of that we do have to rotate the team a little bit, even with it being kind of a local derby. Anyway, I'm going to tell the players we owe FC Porto after the last game. They've responded fairly well to that. And, well, I'm hoping that we can get some goals just like we did against Bate in the previous 2 meetings. Of course, in the Champions League opening 2 games against Porto and Juventus, we didn't get a goal, which is a little bit concerning. But against Bates, we showed we do have goal-scoring power in our team, but now we need to show it against the big dogs. And we might have a chance early on here. Lamela whipping in the ball, headed away. Danny Rose could be a player perhaps to keep an eye on as this game progresses to see how he maintains his fitness. Either way, set piece, ball whipped in, cleared away. Vertonghen was lurking. Lamela, though, still with the ball. I know it's Lamela as well. People keep telling me it's Lamela. I'll get there eventually. Kane, he scores. Casillas, no chance. Harry Kane, 3 minutes gone. That is what we needed from him. I talked about his lack of his lack of Champions League goals, but the fact that in the Premier League he has been firing on all cylinders. And well, 3 minutes gone. It's not taken him long to get into the swing of things here. A really nice finish by him. I think Casillas perhaps could have done a little bit better, but it was a very, very powerful finish. Lashed in from close range. It was Alderweireld, I think, with the through ball. Not a bad ball for the centre-back, of course. Very good with the ball at his feet. And Harry Kane, first time, smashes it. Casillas tips it onto the crossbar, but unfortunately for him, just too much power on the shot. It finds its way into the back of the net. And, well, that's the start we wanted. 10 minutes gone. 1-0 up, Juventus beating Bate, not entirely surprising there. Of course, a win here would secure us a knockout stage spot in the Champions League, so we're playing for quite a lot here. And we're on the attack again here. Lamela hits the woodwork, cleared away by Alex Telles as well, the Brazilian fullback. Casillas bailed out by his defence there after the woodwork came to the rescue initially. We do have a set piece. Vertonghen at the near post, can't get there. Lamela can't get there either. It's going to be Dele Alli laying it out wide to Berahino. Are there options in the middle? He pulls it back. Harry Kane is there. And Harry Kane scores once more. It's 2-0. And, well, Harry Kane, he likes a goal, I think it's fair to say. He doesn't seem to score as many when I'm not doing live comms. Maybe I should do more of them. Maybe that's the secret. Either way, Berahino, lovely ball in. Harry Kane peels off his man. Really stretching for the header there. Loops over Casillas' left hand. And, well, 2-0 up. 20 minutes gone. I'm feeling good. Obviously, against Porto last time out, we lost 1-0 due to a 92nd minute goal, which was heartbreaking. So to see us today, you know, getting a few goals early on is very pleasing. We do need to defend this long throw here. Vertonghen heads it clear. Berahino, can we counter now? Harry Kane, he's going to have to hold up the ball well, surrounded by 7 or 8 players, but he does find Berahino, who plays a quick 1-2 with him. And now it's with Dele Alli and Berahino. And, well, this is really nice interplay. Harry Kane to Eriksen. Options in the middle. Whips it back post. Lamela can't get there. Kane now with it. Eriksen to Dyer. We are probing with the ball at the edge of the box. Seeking opportunities in the middle. Can we find an opening? Eriksen plays through Harry Kane for the hat-trick. He's got another first-half hat-trick. Who is this man? Harry Kane, 3-0 up. I mean, what a player. He's been absolutely outstanding for us so far. This season and so far during our tenure. He's been the lone striker, the man we've been looking for goals. This time on his left peg, lashes it in at the near post. Casillas perhaps should be a little bit better there, but he hits it with so much power. It's always going to be difficult for the goalkeeper to save there. And to be honest, I'm looking at the team now thinking maybe I should rotate the squad a little bit as we go into the second half. Maybe take off a few of our more important players. Just save their legs for the North London derby, which is not a situation, if I'm honest, I thought we were going to be in at any point during this game against FC Porto, but we're 3-0 up. FC Porto not really shown a lot going forward. We've not had that many kind of chances, really. We've had a half chance and a clear-cut chance, but Harry Kane has just been sublime in front of goal. I think that's the only way you can really describe it. He's been so clinical with the ball, and, well, for him to score again there is just absolutely fantastic. So anyway, as I said, as the second half gets underway, might make a few changes, you know, with kind of half an hour gone if we're still 3-0 up. Or, sorry, with half an hour left to go if we're still 3-0 up. This has been a very, very good performance, though. Defensively, we've looked fairly solid. We've not really seen Porto challenging us too much. They've had a few half chances, but they've not been highlights. They've not been, you know, great opportunities for them. And, well, at 3-0 up, I'm feeling pretty good about our chances of going through at this point. Eriksen now with the ball. If we get a fourth, I will probably take off the likes of Harry Kane and Eriksen just to get them fresh-legged. Either way, Herrera now with the ball. Berahino dispossessed in the middle. Ruben Neves, of course, the young Portuguese Wonderkid, lays the ball out wide to Corona, who beats his man down the right side. Can he pull the ball into the centre? He can. And it's gone to Diogo. And I've got to consider maybe not making the changes now. I said I was going to make them on the half an hour mark. Kind of glad we didn't, because it is now 3-1. It should still be convincing. We should still be able to see out this game, but I mean, I don't want to risk it unnecessarily. Looking at our team, how are we getting on? Danny Rose is struggling a little bit, although his condition's not deteriorated as much as I perhaps feared it would. Eric Lamela, not the greatest game. Let's get on Musa Sissoko out on the right-hand side, but that is the only change I'm going to make, at least for now. We'll hold on to our last 2 subs. If we get our 3-goal lead re-established, then we might look to take off the likes of Kane and Eriksen. But right now we're playing very, very well, of course. We want to go through in the Champions League. Our minimum expectation is to reach the first knockout round. And with a result like this, we are on course to do that with 1 game remaining, which will be against Juventus, which is, well, pretty good news, I think it's fair to say. Juventus beating Bate 9-0. Not particularly glamorous for the Belarusian side, if we're being honest. But then again, it wasn't really glamorous when we beat them 6-1, I guess you could argue. Either way, Porto on the attack here. We've got to be wary still. There's still time left in this game. 4 minutes left. Ruben Neves. They've got a few striker options. Adrian turns his man and scores what is an absolute screamer. Porto now, 4 minutes left. I'm just going to drop everyone a little bit deeper. Let's just, get structured, get defensive. We can not play out from the defence now. I do want to watch that goal again in 3D, but I've missed it now. I feel bad. Can we go back? Let's just have a look. How good was it? Behind goal low. How good was this goal? By Adrian. I mean, it looked quite impressive, didn't it? So Adrian has it. Lays it to Herrera. Ruben Neves brought it forward. I think he lays it inside here. No, it's Corona who lays it inside. Is this first time? 1 touch. I mean, it's a great goal, isn't it? Corona. I love the match engine this year. This behind the camera angle just looks so good. Either way, let's get back to real time. We need to just park the bus now for the remaining few minutes. A draw here wouldn't be the end of the world, but it would mean that we would have to go into our last game probably beating Juventus, which I don't want to say I wouldn't back us to do, but would be a challenge. But either way, we've not even got to consider that thought. It's finished 3-2 here. It was a fairly convincing performance throughout the entirety of the game. We see ourselves through to the next round. 10 points the total. A good way to exert a little bit of revenge over FC Porto, and it means that our last game against Juventus does not have a lot riding on it, and that in itself is pretty pleasing. Harry Kane having a man-of-the-match performance. Let's just praise him. Recent form's been superb for him, so we'll let him know that. And yeah, we're not even going to stop recording it. We're going to get straight into the Arsenal game. I don't think there's going to be too much to do between the 2 games. You will notice here that I have all my players resting. After the game against Liverpool last weekend, I told them to have a week rest from training. This to ensure their condition was good for not only the Porto game, but also for this Arsenal game coming up. So hopefully we will see a little bit of that. Danny Rose struggling too. I'm just going to tell him to rest for 2 days. So you will miss the Friday training. I don't think the Saturday training will even matter because, of course, we play on the Saturday against Arsenal, who are in 6th. So it's going to be a fairly important game for us. One to definitely kind of keep an eye out on. In terms of pre-tactical advice, I'm being told to maybe drop Dele Alli and bring in Victor Wanyama, which is an interesting option considering Victor Wanyama is more of our ball-winning midfielder and Dele Alli is more our playmaker. Instructions of stick to positions might be more beneficial, and removing being more expressive would improve our chances of a result. You know what? I'm going to ignore the majority of that because I'm a terrible human being. Koscielny, their key player. Let's just have a quick look at him. He looks fairly good, to be honest. Of course, it's Koscielny. What else do you expect? In terms of how Arsenal predicted to line up, this is how they lined up against Everton just last week. You can see they were playing a 4-2-3-1, a bit like ourselves. So far this save, we've encountered a lot of 4-3-3s or 4-1-2-3s. So it might be a little bit interesting to see how we get on here. I know Giroud is in very, very hot form at the moment. He has 13 goals in 12 games, which is actually, I think, better than Harry Kane's form at the moment, who has 12 in 13. So that's going to be something we have to be wary of. And also, Mesut Ozil on 6 assists at the moment, eclipsing Eriksen, which is, something to be aware of here. Either way, we're going to get forward. Saturday, not far away now. Wenger suggests that the clash is all about desire. Interesting. Ben Davies is back, which is good. Match fitness and condition probably not going to be good enough for a start, although, of course, Danny Rose is our kind of preferred player there. It does mean that the only first-team injury we have remaining is Son, which is good, because at one point we had 6 or 7 injuries and we were right at the top of the Premier League injury table. We've now rode through that period, which is good, and hopefully we can come out the other end now and really hit some form. Anyway, this game here, Sunderland beating Hull. Sunderland, of course, right there up at the top of the table. They're currently in 3rd. They've got 26 points. I dare say, no disrespect to Sunderland fans, that is more points than they may get in real life this year under Moyes. Is that harsh? It probably is a little bit harsh. Either way, we've got a few under-23 games coming up. It's happening tomorrow on the Sunday. There's going to be a few players here who perhaps we could give some time to. I'm going to send a few of the players who I know aren't going to be playing in the team today and make them available for this game just until they're match fit. The likes of Trippier and co. I guess Nkudu can also go. Janssen, I might need to keep him, to be honest. Although he is going to be on the bench for the game. And the game is on Sunday, so that shouldn't be a problem. He should be able to play our Saturday game, and then I'll only make sure he only gets 20 minutes in tomorrow's game. Either way, we are the later kickoff today, so we will get a chance to see how the other games pan out, which has been a rarity, really, throughout this season thus far. For the majority of the time, we've been sat kind of looking at results coming in after our lunchtime kickoffs. So it's kind of nice to have something different. Liverpool come back from behind to win 2-1. Which is good for them. If we just have a look at the Premier League table after those results, we still sit in 3rd. Southampton, I assume, are playing on the Sunday. A win here then would see us go top of the table. A loss would see Arsenal close the gap on us to 2 points. So a win here, an opportunity to go 8 points clear ahead of them, would be pretty huge at this stage, I think it's fair to say. City currently in 10th is pretty shocking. Chelsea in the relegation zone is absolutely ludicrous. Although, I look at this and go, I can't really see this happening in real life. I mean, Leicester won the league last year, didn't they? So, I mean, what is real life in football? Anyway, looking at our team for today's game, I kind of want to play an unchanged side, if I'm honest. I quite liked how we clicked against FC Porto. I thought in the first half we were particularly good. Going up against Arsenal today, we're going to be at home. We want to take the game to them. Looking at match fitness and condition as a whole, it's recovered fairly well. I consider anything above 90 to be playable. And generally speaking, if someone drops below 75, that is kind of my threshold where alarm bells start kind of ringing, and that's a case of maybe I need to take off this player. But no, the team as a whole looks fairly good. Obviously, we've got some top performers in here. Dele Alli, I've been told to maybe drop him due to his form. It hasn't been great, but then neither has Lamela's form of late. I could bring in Wanyama and perhaps move Dyer to deep line playmaker, but Dyer doesn't have that great or a vision, only 11. His off the ball and long shots aren't that great either. So I want to stick with Dele Alli. It's a big call. I think I do. We've got Wanyama on the bench who we can bring on. I mean, there is even an option to suggest that maybe I should play Wanyama ahead of Erik Dyer, to be honest, if we just compare the two players. They are two fairly similar players, and I think I mentioned a few episodes ago how I kind of feel like these two players are difficult to split. It's perhaps also worth noting that the comparison screen, if you've not seen this yet, it's one of the little changes this year in FM. I know that a lot of people have been watching the first few episodes of my series kind of saying, Jack, it looks the same as last year, what's different? It's the kind of changes this year where you only really notice them when you're playing through yourself. So as you can see here, the comparison screen has seen a massive overhaul. Looking at who the better player is, actually Davis edges it in a lot of the areas. Tackling goes Wanyama's way a little bit, as does work rate and determination. But with the exception of that, Erik Dyer, a pretty good pick, I think, at the centre mid defender role. And also, because he's younger in English, I kind of have a tendency perhaps more to play him because he's going to be a longer term solution in our team. I do really like this screen, however. I think it's definitely worth kind of noting how good this is. You can see the strengths and weaknesses of all your different players. Obviously, Wanyama, big players and big matches and consistency. You can see here, Erik Dyer, obviously massive consistency too. So it's pretty good. Either way, let's get into today's game. As I said, unchanged side. I kind of have a settled team at this point. I feel like the area of the team where I perhaps would be more inclined to change things would be the midfield, perhaps in the wide areas. But with Son out injured and Correa lacking match fitness, I don't really have the options that I wish I had. I could obviously bring in Sissoko for Lamela. That's actually a tempting proposition given the fact Lamela's form as late has been pretty poor, a 6.9 average rating for him. That said, Moussa Sissoko not exactly set the world alight, but I feel like maybe we should just give him a chance in today's game. We can have Lamela come on off the bench. The nice thing about Eric here is the fact that not only can he slot in out wide as an inside forward, but out on the left-hand side to come on for Eriksen. If Eriksen's not having the greatest game, he can do a pretty good job there as the advanced playmaker. And to be honest, even down the middle as an advanced or attacking midfielder on support, he can still play that role fairly well. You know, there's a few mentals that perhaps let him down a little bit, but he's capable of playing any one of those three positions, so he's a very nice player to have on the bench. Anyway, let's get into this game. North London derby. The pundit pumping perhaps for Arsenal. Obviously, we're missing Son Heung-min. We're in third, though. Arsenal in 7th. A chance here to go 8 points clear of them. I mean, we want to take that if we can. Our goal difference is superior, but we know how good they are going forward. And I'm hoping that today we can give a good performance. How much of a boost is Danny Welbeck's absence? Interesting. Danny Welbeck out injured then for today's game. Looking at how they're going to line up, not a massive surprise. We expected the 4-2-3-1. It's how they line up. They've got Petr Cech in goal, the 34-year-old Czech goalkeeper, obviously a fantastic player. Already talked about Giroud and Mesut Ozil, but Alexis Sanchez out on the left-hand side, a player we've got to be very, very wary of. They've got Oxlade-Chamberlain probably playing as a winger, if I had to hazard a guess. In the centre of the park, they've got Santi Cazorla and Ramirez. Ramsey, geez, where did Ramirez come from? Send help. But yeah, Aaron Ramsey, so they've not actually got the most defensive set of centre midfielders. Maybe something we can capitalise on here. Either way, let's see how we get on. I want to just, tell the players I've got faith in them. Big game for us against local rivals. We're at home. There's a real expectation from our fans on us to win this game, and hopefully we can do that now. Sissoko giving the ball away immediately. Not the greatest sign for a player you've brought into the side and kind of taken a little bit of a punt on out wide. But yeah, opening stages, we're going to have a very early chance here. Arsenal with the only shot of the game. Wanyama, of course, in the side. Did I accidentally leave Wanyama in? I guess I did. That's my bad. I wanted to put Erik Dyer back in. Either way, both players very capable of doing a job for us. Hopefully Victor then can do the job that I need of him. Vertonghen wins it well there. Alexis Sanchez bringing the ball inside. Can we drive him out wide? No, we allow him to go into the middle. And now they have options. Bellerin with his pace whips it in. Giroud in off the crossbar. Not the start we wanted. 5 minutes gone and Olivier Giroud finds himself with another goal to add to his tally for the season. 1-0 up Arsenal. Disappointing marking, really. Letting that opportunity go Arsenal's way. It was Bellerin with the ball in on the overlap. And, first blood Arsenal. But one thing to perhaps note about this Arsenal side is defensively, they've been pretty poor this year so far. That said, we've not got the greatest defensive record either. So I expect goals today. But right there, Giroud just leaping like a salmon ahead of Alderweireld. And unfortunately for us, it just didn't fall our way, did it? In off the crossbar. And, opening stage is not great. Eriksen with a set piece, though. Can we make amends? Dele Alli! Oh, my gosh. I don't know what I was going to say. What was I going to say? I was going to say I contemplated taking him away. We contemplated dropping him. I showed some faith in him. I ignored the assistant and dropped Erik Dyer for Wanyama instead. And, Dele Alli on that left peg sneaks it in at the back post. It's a delightful little finish on the volley. I'm lost for words. It's 1-1. I said we could expect goals in today's game. That's not what I necessarily had in mind. Koscielny gets away with a warning. Book him, ref. Harry Kane, he's going to be on the shoulder of Koscielny a lot for today's game. An early booking would be quite nice. It'd make Koscielny perhaps a little bit more tentative to perhaps go flying in with too many tackles in this game. Anyway, it's 1-1. We're looking okay here. I'm a little bit concerned about Bellerin on the right, and part of me was wondering maybe I should drop Eriksen deeper in the left midfielder role. Either way, Alexis Sanchez coming forward, nicely dispossessed, but now the ball with Oxlade-Chamberlain, he squeezes it. Lloris tips it onto the crossbar. Danilo gets it clear. And, going into half-time, there was a real opportunity there for Arsenal to retain or regain their lead. There may well still be, although we have the ball here. Disappointing play by Moussa Sissoko. Chamberlain on the overlap again. Hits the woodwork, not for the first time in this game. That is a warning shot that's been fired in our direction. And, we live to fight another day. But it's not been the most convincing of first halves. Arsenal being the better team. I need to tell the players how it is. We need to do better in the second half. Players are looking fired up, which is good. I am going to drop Eriksen into a wide playmaker on attack, I think, to see how that works for us. And I think I'm also, at this point, going to have to bring in Lamela. Realistically speaking, Sissoko's not had the greatest game. Berahino's not had the best game either, but I want to show a little bit of kind of faith in him. So we'll do that. The other thing I'm actually going to do is I'm going to move Berahino just slightly out of position to play offset on the left-hand side, perhaps off the shoulder of Kane. Maybe he can vacate a little bit of the space that Eriksen is going to be perhaps leaving behind with him now playing in the right midfielder position. Reason for playing Eriksen there, I kind of mentioned it earlier, is I'm a little bit concerned about Bellerin stacking over on the left-hand side. So hopefully Eriksen can do a good job for us there and kind of counter them. Either way, Theo Walcott coming on for Arsenal, so a bit of pace in this game. It's still only 1-1, still 28 minutes left of this game. Goal kick taken upfield. Can Berahino get there? He can. He nods it onto Kane. Mustafi mops up nicely though. Now it's going to be Arsenal in possession of the ball. Wanyama wins the ball back well. That is why he's playing today, to do that. And Berahino dispossessed, going alone. And now Giroud with the flick on. No one playing off him though. Alderweireld to Lamela, the sub. Got a point to prove. Lays it through to Kane. Can he finish it? Harry Kane, he skews it wide. A really good opportunity for us there. In the end though, the chance goes a-begging, and now a set piece for Arsenal. Doesn't beat the first man, however. Now can Lamela beat Walcott in a foot race? That's always going to be a difficult race to win. It's now with Koscielny. Walcott the sub. Got a point to prove himself. Mustafi now. Dispossessed by Berahino. Harry Kane through. He's not got that much pace, but he's got enough to find himself clear. Can he squeeze it in? Yes, he can. It's 2-1 here. It's Berahino with a delightful little through ball. We've kept him on the pitch. He's done the job for us as Seda Berahino. He just plays for a delightfully weighted pass. Perhaps Cech could have made himself big and got out sooner. In the end, Harry Kane just one touch, catches the keeper out, moves it around him, slots it home. And, we find ourselves 2-1 up here against our long London rivals. And, there's 20 minutes left. We have the ball again, though. Harry Kane knocks it down to Lamela, the sub. Lays it through to Kane again. Surely he can't score again. He hits the woodwork. Bellerin scrambles it clear. And, in this second half, you'd have to say we've been the better team. We've started creating a lot more chances. And things are looking pretty promising for us. Looking at our team, Eriksen struggling a little bit. Dele Alli playing okay. Wanyama, I'm going to take you off. I'm going to bring in Erik Dyer just to get some fresh legs on in the centre of midfield. But right now, we're 2-1 up. Hector Bellerin being sacrificed. Let's just have a look at Arsenal's formation. I'm curious to see how they're playing now. They're still playing the same system. I didn't know if they might have changed it with Bellerin coming off, but it doesn't seem like that's going to be the case. That said, set piece here for them. Doesn't beat the first man again. Danny Rose, don't fly in for a tackle there. We don't need a sending off. Berahino, Eriksen on the overlap, switches it to Lamela, who will have Kane in support. Eriksen hits it. Probably should have done a little bit better there. That was a very, very good opportunity in Cech while he gratefully clutches it to his chest. A tame shot really straight at him here. Anyway, there's 15 minutes left in this game. I'm going to just play a little bit more conservative, perhaps. We don't really need to risk too much, I don't feel like, at this point. So I am just going to drop players a little bit deeper. We're going to just play it on the counter-attack now. We don't need to play out of defence. We will do a little bit more closing down, but really I just want us to stay fairly structured, stay fairly solid at this point in the game. Just kind of hold on to our lead for the remaining 10 minutes if we can. If there's one thing we've been guilty of throughout this season so far, it's been playing on the front foot when we really don't need to and ended up conceding goals as a result of it. I don't want to make the same mistake here, so we're going to change things up. Arsenal, of course, can be committing men forward. We have an attack here, though. Berahino to Kane. Options in the middle, pulls it back. Santi Cazorla reads it well, but only as far as Danny Rose. The clearance, not great by them. And, we still have the ball here. Dele Alli, can he find a man? He can. Berahino, dispossessed. It's now going to be Arsenal on the attack. That is going to be Lucas out on the left-hand side, the Brazilian Wonderkid. Can he pull it back? He can. Giroud's there. He heads it. Lloris catches it after it hits the crossbar. That is a real warning shot. In fact, did it hit the crossbar? I don't think it did. I think it was just a great save by Hugo Lloris there. Either way, 5 minutes left in this game. We just need to see out what remains of this game. Let's get on defensive. Danny Rose has picked up a knock. I'm afraid, Danny, you're going to have to stay. You're going to have to stay on the pitch, my friend. 5 seconds left. That should be that. I think we're going to come away victors in the North London derby. We are going to 2-1. Great performance. A real game of two halves. In the first half, we weren't really at the races. Arsenal deserved to be ahead. They didn't get ahead. They didn't take all the chances that came our way. And, ultimately, we run out 2-1 victors in this game. It sees us go top of the table. It sees us go 8 points clear of our London rivals. And, when you look at the top of the table now, Liverpool, the closest of what you might consider the big Premier League teams to really be on our tail. We have a really good chance, I feel like, at this point now, to really kick on and hopefully extend a lead at the top of the Premier League. Anyway, guys, that is going to wrap up this episode from me. In terms of when we'll be back, it may well be for the game against Leicester, the former champions. I feel like that could be an interesting game to do. It will be away from home at the King Power Stadium. Of course, we have got Juventus between then and now. However, with the Champions League group stage having been concluded as far as our kind of progression is concerned, there isn't a lot of weight and and value, I guess, in doing that game. So hopefully I'll see you guys for the Leicester game. As always, if you have enjoyed today's video, please do smash the like button. a slightly different format today with the double live com. Let me know down in the comments if you liked it. Makes the videos perhaps a little bit longer than I'd normally like, but at the same time, sometimes it's good for you guys just to see, you know, a few games back-to-back live, see a little bit more of the thought process, and it gives me a little bit more time just to talk about the squad, kind of very much in the moment. As you know, with these videos, I don't really script things, and when you do videos live like this, it gives you a little bit more time, I guess, to just talk about a few things you might otherwise forget. So yeah, as I said, that is all from me. Thank you very much for watching, guys. We are top of the Premier League right now. Hopefully I'll see you guys for the next one. And other than that, it is me, Jack, and I will talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.